Hello and welcome to the video previously known as the pre-game show on Vital MX, now with a new name, The Hub. In The Hub, we will recap all of the news from around the world in motocross and supercross, so stay tuned each week as we provide you with a one-stop shop for all that you need to know. It is quite literally The Hub for all things motocross. Where to even begin this week? So much has happened, so buckle up because this is going to take a little while. Massive news has dropped in the middle of this week as it has been revealed that Jett had a massive practice crash on Tuesday and tore the UCL in his thumb. As a result, Lawrence will miss the remainder of 2024 Pro Motocross, but he will strive to return for the first SMX playoff in Charlotte at the beginning of September. That is almost exactly 2 months away. It's going to be tight. We have, of course, seen how long it has taken Cooper Webb and Eli Tomac to get back onto their bikes after their respective thumb injuries, but every situation is unique, and so let's watch this space after Jett has his procedure in the second half of this week. Australian fans will be on the edge of their seats to see how that recovery process goes, as Motorcycling Australia have announced that Jett Lawrence will lead Team Australia into Matterley Basin later this year. Jett will be joined on the team by Hunter Lawrence and Kyle Webster, who will race in the MX2 class. Webster currently leads the MX1 class in Australia's National Championship and, of course, raced Southwick this past weekend with an impressive 7th in the second 450 MX Moto. The Motocross of Nations is another month after the first SMX playoff, and so if Jett hits that target, there is no reason why he wouldn't be 100% for the 2024 Monster Energy FIM Motocross of Nations. In more injury news, Jeremy Coker, the team manager of the 450 side of Monster Energy Yamaha Star Racing, spoke to us exclusively at Southwick and confirmed that the goal is for Cooper Webb to return to Pro Motocross at Unadilla and for Eli Tomac to return at either Budds Creek or Ironman.
Eli's close to being back on the bike, Coop's on the bike. We're hoping for Coop to be back at Unadilla and Eli probably at Budds Creek.
Do you think there's a chance that you push Eli to SMX, or is there urgency?
He'll be back for at least one outdoor for sure.
Now, even more injury news from the 450 MX class. Justin Barsha will miss the next 3 events as he is dealing with 2 knee injuries and it is simply impossible for him to continue in his current state. Speaking in a gas statement, Barsha said the following: "One knee has a torn and sprained MCL, and my other knee has bursitis, with a little bit of a tear in the meniscus. Not too bad, nothing that requires surgery. Because of the swelling, 2 of my tendons finally let go at high point, but the good thing is that technically, they will just scar up and be fine. These knees are holding us back. We want to be better than 5th to 8th, so we are going to take some time off. I will still be able to train quite a bit, do PT on the knees, and see what we can do to get better." Barsha anticipates returning at Unadilla, but of course that could change as his recovery progresses. Crucially, Barsha told us exclusively after the race that when his gas contract expires at the end of 2025, he will not retire. He anticipates signing another 2-year deal that will take him to the end of 2027. Remember 250 SX West Coast champion RJ Hampshire? Well, he was hoping to be cleared for Redbud, but it just isn't on the cards. Hampshire took to social media to say this: "I had a doctor checkup today and the wrist is not fully healed yet. The original injury was a dislocation and a fractured scaphoid. I thought I could be superhuman and back for Redbud this weekend, but it's not going to happen. I'm still shooting to race a couple of outdoors before SMX comes around." Like Barsha, it sounds likely we will see Hampshire when Pro Motocross resumes at the beginning of August in Unadilla. Luckily, we will see Julian Bogert much sooner than that. Bogert had a scary accident at the start of the second 250 moto at Hangtown and was knocked out for a considerable amount of time. Bogert spent some time in the medical unit after the race, but was later seen chatting in the paddock and generally looking more like himself. There are plans for him to see a neurologist this week, and then potentially he will race this weekend. However, it is much, much, much more likely that you will see him at Millville. Bet on that instead. There was some injury news from MXGP. The most recent round was run in Indonesia, the first of 2 events in Asia. Brian Bogers, who has been a revelation since he picked up a fill-in ride with the Fantic Factory Racing team, dislocated his shoulder in Saturday's qualification heat and has now returned to Europe to begin his rehabilitation. Bogers said this in an official statement. "The pain is not so bad. The shoulder just feels a bit weak when I move it. That is why we decided it was safer to sit this one out, even though it is a pity to watch from the sidelines, especially because I had a really good feeling on track. I will go home, let the shoulder check and treat it properly. If you just rest here for 1 week, the risk is to lose 1 week and still not be able to ride at the next GP. I prefer to go home and make sure that the recovery will be as fast as possible." That most recent round of MXGP was won by Jorge Prado and Kai de Wolf. Tim Geiser still leads the championship standings, despite the fact that he missed the podium for only the 2nd time this year. What else has been happening in the world of motocross? Well, the Arenacross UK series, which has gathered quite a lot of steam in recent years. You may remember Josh Hansen lined up for one series, Tommy Searle has brought a lot of attention to the championship with his vlogs, and now the series will be going international. In 2025 there will be 8 rounds, 6 will be run in the UK, and the final 2 will be run internationally. The 7th round, that being the penultimate one, is to be announced, but it will be in the Middle East somewhere, and then the final round will be run in Abu Dhabi at Etihad Arena, the same arena that hosts the WSX event. Those will be known as the World Tour Finals, and the event will be run on the 26th of April. How this is going to work is there will be 2 separate championships in one series. The first 6 rounds will count for a British Arenacross Championship, as it has done in recent times, and then the top 20 riders will qualify for the international finals, which are tipped to have a considerable prize fund attached to them. The 2 championships will be known as the British Championship and the World Tour Championship. This should attract some interesting riders. Dean Wilson has stated his intention to race in the UK. In fact, it could line up perfectly for him, as rumours suggest he could commit to an East Coast only schedule in the United States. And the first 5 rounds of Arenacross UK will be run from the 4th of January to the 8th of February. The first round will be run on the first weekend in January at the BP Pulse Arena in Birmingham, England. It was indeed a very busy week. Thank you for sticking with us through this episode of The Hub. We will be back next week to cover Redbud and the 2nd Indonesian event, and all of that happens at those races. Thanks again for sticking with us with this new feature. We hope the new name makes you a little happier, and we will see you next week.